During the making of this video, the operators of various mines have allowed the staging or the recreation of certain conditions which may at first appear to be unsafe and not according to certain federal, state, and/or company safety procedures. These scenes were created strictly to demonstrate the differences between correct and incorrect safety and work procedures in the mining environment. At times, incorrect procedures may have been intentionally left in the video sequences to allow mine safety instructors to ask, "What's wrong with this picture?" The conditions and stage scenes are in no way a true reflection of the condition or the operation of the mine shown in this video production. Finally, this video must be augmented by new MSHA rules and regulations that may be implemented at any time, in addition to changes in your company's safety rules and regulations that may be put into practice. This video training program does not purport to cover all federal, state, and/or your company's safety rules and regulations on the topics covered. For answers to any questions that you may have, consult with your supervisor or your company safety manager at once.
I've had people say to me, "Dr. King, you know, I smoke pot every night. My supervisor drinks a six-pack of beer. Come on, Dr. King, what's the difference?" My answer to that is the difference is one is legal and one's not legal.
Well, the margin for error under the best of conditions is slight. The margin for error under drugs, you just can't get it done. Your reaction time is too slow, and you don't want to put yourself in danger, and you don't want to put your colleagues in danger.
Employees probably don't want to report that they have a problem for a number of reasons. One, mining's heavy industry. We're macho guys and girls, and to admit that we need help is difficult for us. There's a perception out there that you might be weak if you ask for help.
You know, if you're like me, you're under a considerable amount of stress today. Things like the high cost of getting places, high cost of gasoline, the mortgages, insurance, taxes, kids' clothing and education, kids in trouble with the law, marital problems. Gosh, too much month left at the end of your money. Company buyouts, job instability. You don't know if you're still going to have the same job you had last month. A lot of things cause a lot of stress, and today we're going to talk about some of these crutches that people might use to help them make it through the week. Some are legal, some are illegal. Today we'll hear from a medical doctor who reviews drug tests, and she'll discuss some of the abused substances that she finds today and the reasons people give for why they tested positive. And believe me, she's heard them all. And you'll be surprised at what you hear. Come along with us today as we discuss a topic that a lot of people just do not want to talk about today: substance abuse. This is no laughing matter. It's something that affects your safety and health of your coworkers, can affect your whole family. It's a life and death issue. It's something that miners throughout the country and MSHA are fighting today.
Billy Bob is riding in his pickup on the way to work. He's feeling no pain. The reason? That beer in his hand that he keeps knocking back. Beer in a brown paper bag. A pretty obvious sign of abuse. Yeah, even on the way to work. But it's not always this easy to tell who may be abusing alcohol, illegal drugs, or even prescription drugs.
I tell clients, you know, if you look out your window and see one of your employees single-handedly lifting a semi-truck, they're probably under the influence of something other than that morning's coffee.
Maybe not lifting a semi, but acting antagonistic and ready to pick a fight, like this younger miner. The more experienced miner prepares a power lockout tagout. Not the younger miner. He's having no part of it. He's going to argue. He's going to be right at all costs. He could be under the influence of coke or crack. How about the direct opposite? Mr. Sleepy on the job, napping in the cab of his pickup. His two co-workers are looking over a schematic plant drawing, ready to change out seals on a pipeline, but not Mr. Sleepy. He could have smoked one too many joints before coming to work. He's got a nap. Now let's not forget Mr. Dynamo. He's the one loading pipeline gaskets on the truck like he's training for a 440-yard relay. The crew member can barely keep up with him. He asked him, what in the world is the rush? Under the influence of meth, uppers, or crank, he can't even slow down long enough to give him an answer. Now we come to Mr. I'm gonna work another extra shift. Yeah, that's him in the cab of the tractor. Looks like he can't stay awake. He's nodding off. All the extra hours and bad food are lack of it. He's got to snap out of it for that bigger paycheck. He takes a few bennies. Oh, he's ready for more. And then there's, could I borrow a dime, or a dollar, Mr. Character. When he sees a co-worker at those drink and vending machines, he's always there trying to borrow money. He may very well be supporting a habit, so he's always running short of dough. Supervisors, observe the behavior of your crew members. Crew members, observe your co-workers. Extreme mood swings to complete withdrawal, grogginess, and being unusually quiet or sedate may all ultimately be signs of a minor struggling with abuse.
What are some of the more commonly abused substances? A medical review officer is going to help us identify some.
As long as you have a prescription for it in your name, there's no problem whatsoever. Let me say that again. As long as you have a prescription for it in your own name, there's no problem. Never, ever, ever take someone else's prescription medications. Ever. Because if you test positive, and if you don't have a prescription in your own name that I can verify, then that drug screen is positive, and you will be subjected to the same disciplinary action as if you had used another drug.
It's not just the marijuana or the meth. Minors are abusing prescription medications in growing numbers. Witness this human resources manager and minor discovering the prescription drug positive test in his case.
Okay, Steve, I have a positive drug screening here from the work group safety testing that you took, and was wanting to see if you could explain why, if you know of any reason why it possibly could be positive.
Well, I ran out of my own pain medicine for my shoulder injury last year, so I've been taking this medicine in the meantime.
Well, that explains why you've got the positive drug screen, but oh, wait a minute, this seems to be in your Meg Reed's name. Is that your wife? Now you know that you should not be taking anything that's in someone else's name.
Thanks for letting me know. I didn't know I couldn't take Meg's prescription. I'm going to go get mine filled immediately.
There is no question, either through confusion or ignorance, that some minors mistakenly take another person's prescription. But you've heard it here. Take only prescriptions in your name and in the prescribed dosages. The medical review officer, Dr. Nancy King, says marijuana is the #1 illegal substance found in drug screens.
The individual that tells you, well, I tested positive for marijuana, but I swear I haven't used the drug for 6 months, it must have been from 6 months ago, I can assure you that that is not possible. We're looking at retention times on the outside of about 30 days, and that's on someone that uses it on a regular, everyday basis.
Dr. King points out another popular illegal drug is meth, uppers, or crank.
People under the influence of methamphetamine, they are wide open all the time. They'll go 2-3 days without sleeping. They are incredibly productive. I've had people under the influence of meth that'll do the work of 12 guys in 1 hour. And I've had employees say, Dr. King, for God's sakes, leave him alone. He's my best employee. Let me tell you something, methamphetamine is a bad, bad drug.
Those who make and or use meth have been raiding drugstore shelves to buy over-the-counter medications with ingredients used in the home laboratory making of meth.
Some of the items that were removed were things like ephedrine, pseudoephedrine, and phenylpropanolamine. Because those were items that were being abused by people who could pick them up over the counter, the federal government passed a new law It's called the Combat Methamphetamine Epidemic Act, and it puts restrictions on the sale and use of these products.
Dr. King says other minors use cocaine and then they pass it off on any over-the-counter medication or prescription with a cane in it.
Is there any drug that could cause a drug screen other than cocaine to come back positive for cocaine? And the answer to that is no. There's no other medication other than cocaine that would cause a drug screen to come back with that result.
Dr. King says occasionally she sees a test positive for PCP or angel dust.
Street name for that is angel dust. It's a white powder. It was originally used by veterinarians as a sedative for animals, but when humans use it, it has a very, very different effect.
Marijuana, cocaine, amphetamines, opiates, and PCP, all illegal drugs of choice in the mining environment. Whether prescription or illegal, the end result is the same. It's not good.
Drugs, whether they be prescription drugs, alcohol, and illegal drugs, are just a short-term solution. They make you feel good just for a short term. They don't help you address the causes of your problems, whether they're financial problems, relationship problems, and you'll just stay in that circle and spiral deeper and deeper unless you take that first step and admit and ask for help.
So what are some of the reasons miners turn to substances to help them make it through the day?
Mining as a heavy industry has many labor-intensive jobs. When injuries do occur, like this miner who strains his back while improperly trying to lift a pump, often pain medication is prescribed. Even with therapy, pain from the injury may linger for days, weeks, or months. In some cases, addiction to sedatives or painkillers occurs. Rotating shifts, long hours, night work by miners changing out parts to this crusher can deliver fatigue and exhaustion. Repetitious tasks, like operating this tractor to remove excess material from the plant floor, can produce fatigue. Without proper rest, diet, and health practices to offset the fatigue, some miners turn to uppers or crank. On-the-job fatal accidents can deliver a mental and emotional blow to surrounding coworkers and survivors. In the shop, this miner is working at the grinder, experiences a heart attack, and a crew member calls for help and delivers CPR. In spite of everything the crew member does, he can't revive the heart attack victim who dies. In the aftershock of such trauma, miners often turn to alcohol or drugs to ease the pain. In their personal lives, miners experience divorce, financial problems, monetary stress, and death of friends or loved ones. All of these forces can create mental and emotional stress. Again, miners seek relief through alcohol or drugs. The reasons for possible substance abuse seem almost endless, but one thing is for certain. Whether on a drag line, haul truck, front-end loader, in the shop, or out in the mine, you not only endanger your life and health, but that of others.
Well, you don't want your airline pilot to have a substance abuse problem, and you don't want to be on the plane when he has that problem. Likewise, at work, we have very easily, we work in some hazardous conditions and we strive to make them safe, but a big part of that safety is the employee's behavior. And when you're under the influence, the behavior can be altered and you could injure yourself, or you could injure your coworker, or worse, you could kill yourself or even kill your coworker.
But miners may say, it's the only way I can cope. This is the reply to that line of thinking by a seasoned mine safety consultant.
It's not a matter of lifestyle or preference or what ought to be. It's what's legal and what's not legal.
Why are miners reluctant to tell management about the prescription drugs they're taking on the job?
With prescription drugs, let's answer the question by watching this conversation between a nurse and a miner who's reported side effects from prescription medication while he's been operating a high-reach forklift.
I see you're taking some pain medicine. How long have you been taking that? About a week?
Years.
Okay. Well, you've probably got 3 or 4 more days to take this, and the side effects you're telling me are that you're nauseated and that you're dizzy. And it's a very high likelihood that this pain medicine is what's doing that. Probably because you took it on an empty stomach could be why you're nauseated.
Yeah, I haven't eaten.
Yeah. And then they can make you dizzy. So because you're in a safety sensitive position of operating the SkyTrack, we need to get you off that piece of equipment because it's certainly not safe for you to be operating that, while you're dizzy. It's not safe for you, and it's not safe to our other employees. So we'll find you something else that you can do that is not safety oriented like that until you finish taking these medications and stuff.
Aha! Therein lies the difficulty. Now the miner is collating JSAs, workplace exams, confined space permit entry forms, paperwork, and his crew member walks through the office and makes fun of him. A temporary job you don't like and the peer pressure that's taken a few friendly jabs at you. Who in the world wants that? Additionally, whether prescription drugs or even illegal substances are involved, miners who operate equipment with air-conditioned cabs such as drag lines, haul trucks, front-end loaders, and similar equipment, they don't want to be transferred to jobs such as shoveling excess materials back on a belt, working in the shop, or repairing equipment. If miners are using illegal drugs or substances, often they are so addicted to these that they don't want to ask for help in dealing with the addiction. Often, the addiction is so strong, they won't even abandon the drugs long enough to pass a pre-employment drug screen. Often in the face of a positive drug test, they tell the medical review officer the wildest of stories.
I had all 85 of my teeth pulled the other day, and he shot my gums up with Novocaine. Do you think that's what could have caused my drug screen to come back positive for cocaine? I will tell you, there is no drug other than cocaine that will cause your drug screen to come back positive for it.
If you have a prescription and there are side effects warnings, or you experience side effects, tell your supervisor or someone in management immediately. If you're abusing, get help now. If not, the consequences are going to be dire.
What are the dangers of substance abuse? Let's look at them.
With employers in the mining industry, if you come to them, they have drug abuse programs and they can help you. If you wait until there's an accident or there's a random drug test, the policy is pretty much throughout the industry is there is zero tolerance and you will lose your job. So it's that simple. If you use drugs, you lose your job. If you don't, you keep your job.
Let's stop right there. It's the wallet issue. If you use and you're caught, then bye-bye wallet and paycheck. Is that a strong enough reason to put the brakes on abuse and to get help now? Picture your family in the equation. No paycheck, no food, no place to live, no transportation for you to provide for and love your family or loved ones. Is it really worth it? Now, how about your health, your brain, cardiovascular system, lungs, respiratory system, teeth, gums, and almost all of your body can be severely damaged or destroyed through the use of drugs. Is it really worth it? Dangers on the job. Think about it. Operating equipment of any kind and all safety-sensitive tasks are put in jeopardy if you're under the influence.
Well, the margin for error under the best of conditions is slight. The margin for error under drugs, you just can't get it done. Your reaction time is too slow, and you don't want to put yourself in danger, and you don't want to put your colleagues in danger.
That man or woman next to you is put in danger if you're under the influence. Now, they want to put in a day without getting hurt or killed because a drug user performed an unsafe act. In return for an honest wage, you owe it to your company and crew members to work safe without illegal substances. Every year, accidents and fatalities occur with miners under the influence of illegal substances. Bulldozers go into withdrawal points, and operators die under the influence of uppers. Drag lines go over the face, and into open cuts or water because an operator had too many joints or beers. All trucks are overturned and drivers are killed under the influence of cocaine. The MSHA fatalograms just go on and on with such tragedies. The bottom line is this: mining is a heavy industry with inherent dangers. You don't need to add countless others through the use of illegal substances.
Now we're going to show you some tips on training your employees on substance abuse in the workplace.
First, warn your miners. The wild off-the-planet stories about a positive drug test aren't gonna work with a medical review officer. Imagine the story that this female miner told the doctor about testing positive for cocaine.
Well, I have this boyfriend, and I don't do cocaine, but he does cocaine. And the night before I had to go in for my drug screen, he and I had sex. And I'm sure that is how I must have gotten it in my system. And I said, Miss Smith, I knew it was injected, but I didn't know that's what they were referring to.
Second, in your new miner training and refresher training, be detailed, direct, and very specific about your company's policies and substance abuse. Watch this supervisor's approach.
Today we're going to talk about, on our employee handbook, is on our drug policy, where it be a random post-accident drug and alcohol testing. We do pre-hire for hiring in. You'll have to do a pre-hire test. And then we do randoms, and our randoms can be individual, they can be a whole crew, or we can do a whole job site depending on what our corporate office mandates for us to do. When they do random job pulls, all this information is sent to a third-party company. It's fed into a computer with a number of employees. You know the company has a zero tolerance for drug and alcohol on the job sites. They have the right to go through your vehicle if you're suspected of drinking on the job. Some of the problems that we see are the prescriptions and not being in your name. So if you was ever picked with a random and you got somebody else's prescription that you're taking, that won't fly. The MRO would flag it and says, do you have a prescription of your own with that in your name?
Finally, let miners know there are plenty of law-abiding, non-substance abusing employees working who have positive things that get them through the day.
By the grace of God, He wakes me up every morning, and I take a look around. I see my kids, I see where I'm living, and I say, well, I got to go in and make this day and come home safe so I can make another day.
I got love for my family, weekends with the grandkids. I have my wife and my family, and supporting them, and hopefully at the end of the week have enough money to go flats fishing.
I have a good boss, good family, and get paid a decent wage. Helps me get through the day.
Now do you understand the importance of talking about substance abuse? We hope what you've seen today has helped reinforce the importance of talking to your supervisor about any questions or abuse of any substance. Until our next exciting mine safety training video, work safe. The members of the Florida Mine Safety Advisory Committee would like to especially thank the miners and management at Mosaic's Hooker's Prairie Mine and CCC Group Incorporated for allowing their personnel to help produce this video. Without them, it wouldn't be possible. We'll see how good she is. Dr. King, I'd really like to thank you for appearing in our video. We feel like we know we've made another award-winning video, and we couldn't have done it without your help. And you know, a lot of people have accused me of being on drugs. And I'd like you to help me. I'm going to give you the privilege of dispelling that rumor by testing my sample.
Well, that's great, Ben. There's a lot of people out there that would like to get clarification once and for all whether or not your behavior is drug-induced or not. But, well, it looks like we've got a good temperature, so it's passed the first test. I'm a little bit concerned, though, Ben, that this thing is bubbling. I tell you what. Damn it, Ben. Mountain Dew again.